play right, cause they can't miss. All about the game, that's a cold switch. Serving up the truth, call it ruthless. Tune in and get your fix from Blake and Vish Sports.
And that is just Howie Roseman being awesome in the month of April. This past April and May, he made some great trades. I guess in March too, but just this offseason, Howie Roseman made a bunch of different trades, moving around for 2021, or I guess 2022, and sort of solidifying the future. They got rid of Wentz. They still have an older roster, but they acquired some new guys, traded down a little bit, traded up, made some moves. But Vish, what are your thoughts on the Eagles trades? And I guess I can just preface this by saying what they are, right? So they traded Carson Wentz for a contingent second rounder. If he plays over 75% of the snaps, Carson Wentz, that comes into a first. And then they traded from 6 to 12 with the Dolphins, and then they picked up the Dolphins first rounder. And as we sit at the end of week 5 before the Colts play, the Philadelphia Eagles right now are slated to have the number 3 pick from the Dolphins, number 7 pick from the Colts, and the number 10 pick from themselves. So that's 3 picks in the top 10. But Vish, what are your overall thoughts on what Howie Roseman and the Eagles have done this past offseason?
Yeah, I think they've been unbelievable. They've had a great offseason. I've been wrong on a lot of things with the Eagles. Like, I didn't think that what they were doing was very shrewd. I didn't think hiring Sirianni was the right move. I didn't think that sticking with Jalen Hurts was the right move. All of that. I just want to say I was pretty much wrong across the board. Sirianni looks like a pretty solid hire. Their defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gaiman, seems to be a good game planner and pretty smart, and their defense is actually pretty good. Better than what I expected. And I do want to give props first off. I think Jalen Hurts is getting better at an alarmingly fast rate. There's so many things I thought that he was not good at last season that it's shocking how much better he's gotten in terms of playing from the pocket. And if he's getting better at this rate, who knows how good he will be next year, which makes their moves look even smarter because they have all these assets to build around a quarterback instead of having to get a quarterback. I mean, the first move you talked about, right? The Dolphins trade. Unbelievably smart move because it's not just the fact that they traded down and got a first round pick for next year, which now looks like it could be a top 10 pick and has a good chance of being a top 10 pick. It's also the added fact that they went and got a rookie receiver who's outperforming the other rookie receiver, Jalen Waddle. Devonta Smith has been very good this season. I mean, outside of Jamar Chase, who's basically on a historic pace his rookie season, Devonta Smith has had a very, very good rookie season. Everything about how Devonta Smith plays makes you very excited about how good he's going to be in his connection with Jalen Hurts. So that first thing looks good. The Carson Wentz trade. Carson Wentz is likely going to play 17 games this season. I mean, he played with 2 sprained ankles. If he's willing to play through that, he's going to play. And Carson Wentz also this season still has a lot of issues that Carson Wentz had in 2021. And so 2021 or 2020, excuse me, was not a one-off season for Carson Wentz. It's closer to who he is. The erratic accuracy, the somewhat reckless play, the kind of confusing, perplexing decision-making still exists within Carson Wentz's game. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. I think it existed even when he was an MVP. But I thought the talent around him was able to elevate the best of his play style and his athleticism and ability. And now he hasn't had the best team around him the last few years. Even Indy's offense around him, I wouldn't say is very great. And we're seeing the worst of Carson Wentz. So from that standpoint, I think that's another victory for Philly. And you just look at their assets. You look at the fact that everything Jalen Hurts has done so far this year has been promising him. And I think Nick Sirianni is really smart in terms of the way he calls games for Jalen Hurts. I do think that they do things for Jalen Hurts that makes it very, very comfortable in terms of what he's able to do and what he's good at. And not to mention the fact that they've gotten him to get this much better in such a short time is crazy to me. And so I think everything Philly did this offseason was very, very smart. It's paying off. And Philly looks like just a year from now, they can quickly turn this thing around. And they might have the best team in the NFC East because they already look better, honestly, so far this year than the Giants, who've been struggling with injuries and bad coaching decisions and weird things, and Washington, who looks very dumb for not addressing their quarterback situation and thinking Ryan Fitzpatrick was the answer.
Definitely. I mean, you go to the Wentz trade, right? That relationship was stained. They got what they could, and they got a second, which could be a first. That is great, and they're eating the dead cap, right? But that doesn't really matter for them because they knew going into this season that they were not going to compete. So pretty much them eating the cap was another way of helping them tank, not having to pay people and all that. And then the Dolphins trade, I never understood this from the Dolphins kind of side of the equation, right? You had all these big picks. I thought they should have just stayed put at 12, but they traded up. But they traded up for a receiver, which I don't entirely agree with. I don't know what the whole point of that was, but they did it anyway. And it was a great move by the Eagles because not only did the Dolphins, or not only did the Eagles move back, and they were still able to get one of the receivers, which they desperately needed because their receivers just haven't been that great. Although Rager's been better, and Quez Watkins looks like he could be something, a guy they took late. But this Dolphins pick is turning out to be a lot better than we all anticipated, right? Their offense, this Dolphins offense has been in shambles. Two has been injured. Brissett hasn't been as good. The Dolphins defense hasn't been able to kind of carry them like they were last year. So this Dolphins pick's looking like it's going to be top 10, which is kind of crazy, all things considered. So they're getting a top 10 pick. They're getting Devonta Smith, who some people had as better than Chase. I know you had him better than Chase. At minimum, he was a top 3 receiver in this draft, right? So they got him, and they picked up a couple first potentially. That is just genius. And all the while, their team has been competitive in pretty much every game. They went toe to toe with the Niners. They had a little comeback against the Chiefs. They've won a couple games. So they've been really, really solid this year, considering the fact that they're rebuilding. Their roster is older in some aspects, but I don't know, man. This has been looking like a really good start to their rebuild as of right now.
Yeah, and it's because of the assets they have and because of how cheap Hertz is, it's looking like it doesn't even have to be a rebuild. Like they can be 6-11, 7-9, maybe even 8-9, 9-8 type team this year, just right around a fringe 500 team. And with the Miami pick, the possible Indy pick, their pick, immediately be able to turn it around like this and inject youth into their team to go with the fact that they have a lot of young players, but a lot of really good older players, like a Jason Kelsey, and be a powerhouse next year once again. And maybe they spend their assets and hit that 1 year lottery the way they did in 2017 when they spent everything and everybody worked out in 2017. They didn't work out in 2018. They didn't work out in 2019, but they worked out in 2017 when they were able to eventually win the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz. And then Nick Foles ended up taking them to the promised land in the playoffs. But you look at that, and then you look at the fact that, the offensive line between Jason Kelsey and Jordan Mailata, they have two like cornerstone offensive line pieces, and Kelsey's still playing at a very high level. And Mailata has been the find of the NFL. That dude is
Yeah.
incredible. And so I just look at it like that, and I say I'm shocked, but the Eagles are gonna be maybe a force to be reckoned with next year. And I think Jalen Hurts is a lot better quarterback than what I expected he would turn out to. I didn't expect his development to be this fast like this, and who knows how good he'll be next year the way he's getting better.
Definitely. But the Eagles have looked like a winner from this past offseason, just how the start of the season has been going. Dolphins trending down, surprisingly, to much people's surprise. And then the Colts, people were either high or low on them. They've struggled so far, although they have a big game against the Ravens